Hey gang, today we're going to do Bon Jovi's Livin' on a Prayer, or rather Richie Sambora's great little solo from it, with some excellently chosen notes, I must say. All right. Hey, as always, if you like this, please give it the thumbs up, and if you haven't yet, subscribe for a couple of these every week. All right, we'll see you in just a second with exactly what I was playing. All right, gang, let's go over this note for note. Before we do, you can download the tab from the link in the description. It's going to make your life a little bit easier. Probably don't need the tab this time, but what the heck, it's there. All right, second thing is the sound. Get some gain on your guitar, decent amount of it, and go to town. All right, there you go. That's the sound. Third thing is the chords. So let's talk a little bit about the chords and the theory behind this, and then we'll do the whole thing slowly, and then we'll break it down line by line. So the chords are... they kind of go like this. Okay, that's the chords over the solo. So that's an E minor, C, D, and then G, C, D, E minor again, C, D, and then G, C, E minor, and again E minor. So there's 2 bars of E minor at the end. All right, and that makes it especially dramatic when we do this solo. All right, let's do the whole thing slowly, and then we'll break it down line by line. Ooh, I should say before this, those chords all fit into the key of G major, or you could say E minor. I like thinking of it as G major. The way that Richie Sambora plays this, he plays a lot of the notes from the major scale. He doesn't just play G major pentatonic or E minor pentatonic. So we're gonna have to play some notes in the G major scale, which is fine. It's great. It makes it nice and melodic. All right, so let's go through. Here's the solo. I'm going to start out here on the 7th fret on the 5th string. Okay, so here we go. Whole thing slowly. All right, that's the whole thing slowly. Okay, so we're going to start out here. Like I said, this can be thought of as being in G major. And so if we're doing that, we're going to have to know particularly the scale, the G major scale in this position in the 12th. And that should, if you're familiar with the pentatonic, this should all line up with the E minor pentatonic. So it should be pretty close to that. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start out here. Here's the first lick, or the first line. Okay, this is over this E minor, C, and D. All right, so we're going to start out on an E minor note right there on the 7th, and just come back. So that's, 7, 5, 7, and 5, 7. And then we're going to play this. And notice I'm doing a pinch harmonic on that one. Okay, so if you know how to do pinch harmonics, great. That's good for you. Basically, what you're trying to do is just kind of find the spot on, or squealies. Sometimes people say this. It's a right-hand technique. and you're just trying to angle it just a little bit and just kind of dig in. If you're picking down and slanting up, you're going to dig in, and it's just going to hit your flesh a little bit. And there's different spots where it's going to happen. You can't do that everywhere on your guitar, so you got to find the spots that are going to work. All right, and just practice that a little bit. It's not easy. I tend to slant my pick backwards. I know it's hard to see. I tend to slant my pick backwards, and that makes my pinch harmonics less predictable, which is not good. So on this one, I'm going forwards and doing it. Finally, we're coming down and ending on this note, and that's over a D chord, right? And that happens to be the root note of D. That's a D on the 5th string, 5th fret. So again, here's the line. And then give that lots of vibrato. All right, here's the next line. All right, so this line is right out of the G major scale. So if we play the G major scale right up here, you'll notice that this is an entire octave up. This is the 12th fret, so this should be a G note right here on the 3rd string, right? This third note, or 3rd string, 12th fret, that should be a G. So we're starting there. That should sound very happy and kind of predictable there. But the way that Sambora plays it's really cool. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to rake up. I rake on the 2nd and 3rd string, on the 3rd and 2nd strings, a little bit of palm muting with the right hand, and then you want to let that top note ring out like that. Okay, so just try your best to mute it and just kind of glide across those strings. That's called a rake, when you just kind of glide across those strings, muting with your right and left hands, if you can. So we're going to start out on that note. So that's 12, 14, 15, and then jumping down to the 15th on the 2nd string. That's actually not so common. You don't hear that so much, certainly not in rock, so that's kind of cool. And then on the 2nd string, we're going to go 12, 13, and 15. So that's a full step bend on the 15th twice, and then slowly bring it down, and then stroke it again, give it lots of vibrato, like so. Exaggerated that a bit there, but you get the picture. All right, so here's the line again. Okay, the 3rd line is this, or the next line is this. Way cool line, love that. The first stuff is just kind of spacer notes. So we're going to start out here on the 4th string, 14th, and hit that note. Okay, and then we're doing a double stop. We're going to do this double stop here over the E minor chord, which makes sense, right? That's my E minor. So I'm going to play the 2nd and 3rd strings, 12th fret, and then give 2 chucks, and then play this right here, which is on the 3rd string 14th and on the 2nd string 13th, which kind of coincides with that note right there is a C, and so that's going to be played over the C note. Sounds good, right? We're just going back to that 12-12. You can add on the 4th string if you want the 12th. I think I did that and wrote that in a tab, but it doesn't really matter. The 2nd and 3rd strings will do just fine. So we got 12-12, 14-13, and then 12-12 again. Okay, so, and then we've got this. And that's over our D chord, right? Because this is a, and it's over that D chord. And you'll notice, I hope, that even though this all technically fits into the G major scale, and you can think of it in terms of scales, We're playing chord tones here, and chord tones really matter, especially when you're playing a solo like this where there's not a ton of notes. You want to land on real good ones, and that's what this does. So what we're doing is we're taking the 11th, bending it up a half step to the 12th, and then coming back to the 11th. And then playing this. So that's 12 on the 4th and ending up on 12 on the 5th and giving it some vibrato. So think about that. What did we just play? We just played this note. Play that, and you'll hear a D chord. It's right there. That's just a D triad, right? And it should line up with here's your D on the 6th string. Here's your D on the 1st string. Whoops, there we go. And that's my bar chord D, right? So it's just part of that. Nice. All right. So here we go with that one again. Here's the whole line. Okay, here's the next line. Okay, so again, we've got this rake going up to the 1st string, 12th fret, and then same, almost the same as the lick before, 14th and 15th, jumping down to the 15th on the 2nd, and then 12, but this time we go, so that's the 13th and coming down to the 12th on the 2nd, and then the 12th on the 3rd. And on the 2nd string, 15th, we're going to bend that up twice, full step. Second one, we're going to give it lots of good shake and vibrato. All right, here's that whole line. Okay, here's the last line, and that's over that E minor, right? So bending up to this, which is an E note, right? Think about that right there. That's an E, right? So E minor. E is going to sound good over E minor. That's a root, right? Okay, so here's the last part. Okay, so this one is a pure minor pentatonic lick. We're going to start out here on the 3rd string, go 14, 16. And this is E minor pentatonic, okay? So starting right here, we're going to play 14, 16, and the 2nd string 15, 17, 1st string 17, or 1st string 15, back to 17 on 2nd, 15 again on the 1st, 17 and bend, whole step and keep it. All right, here's the whole line. Try not to get those stray notes in like I just did. All right, and that's it, folks. Well, there you go, gang. Short and sweet. Cool little solo from Richie Sambora. Really nice and not too difficult either. All right, we'll see you on down the road.